The sky had not lost its gray when the SUV exploded at 6:03 a.m. Not with a fire, but a screech, as if one had loaded up a dishwasher with knives and pressed spin cycle. Then there was silence. Cattle ran scattering like they had encountered the devil. Sitting on the porch in nothing but tattered boxers, old man Caleb squinted at the smoke rising over the canyon pasture. Biscuit half-eaten, one eyebrow raised, he grumbled, "Well, that'll rattle some folks awake." 3 days ago, I had no idea what an HOA was, let alone how much havoc one could wreak. I thought they were just suburban control freaks who disliked anything more untamed than Bermuda grass. But that morning, on the Baxter Ranch, observing a white SUV sizzle like a nuked burrito, I realized that lone, smugly parked car was the catalyst, an online firestorm, a family breakdown, a buried secret surfacing, and my grandpa Caleb? He was to be a legend, with a grudge and a spool of copper wire. I'm Ellie, a junior shipped off to Grandpa's ranch for the summer like some mismarked Amazon box. Mom said it was for character. Caleb claimed it'd give the buzzard something to chew on. 2 days in, he banged on my door before dawn yelling about a trespassing son of a Cadillac down by the lower field. Bleary-eyed, I stumbled into a hoodie and mismatched boots. Sure enough, parked dead center in the south pasture was a shiny white SUV, logoed up with Vista Heights HOA, its tires still new, gate wide open. The plate read VSTHD1. "Vista Heights," I mumbled, blinking. Caleb spat a peanut shell on the ground. Whole bunch of yoga mat packing city types thinking Texas is their private yoga retreat. "But why here?" I asked. He didn't respond, just walked off to the shed and returned with a spool of wire, a rusty transformer, and the kind of scowl that had me questioning whether revenge was genetic. 30 minutes later, that SUV was hooked directly into the cattle fence's electrical pulse. "What if someone touches it?" I asked. He shrugged. "Same as a coyote discovering the henhouse. Teaches them some manners. Didn't take long." Around noon, a guy with a Vista Heights polo, Bluetooth earpiece, and a tan like it was painted on, rolled up in a black Tesla. Marched straight to the SUV, jabbering on his phone. "I'm here to retrieve HOA property. This land is—" He didn't complete. One shock and the dude collapsed like a folding chair. Phone flew out of his hand, khakis went flopping, and cicadas hummed respectfully as he moaned. "You're all crazy." Caleb rested against the fence, as calm as creek water. "You rode on my land, son. Texas doesn't give no slack to trespassers." I couldn't help but laugh, and I captured it, intended to forward it to my cousin Nate, but he forwarded it to a friend who put banjo music behind it. Heavily edited by sundown, Electric Grandpa versus the HOA was all the rage. The internet made Caleb a folk hero, half John Wayne, half mad scientist. But Vista Heights? They were not amused. Morning after, 3 things occurred. A tow truck arrived to tow away the burned SUV. We received a letter promising legal action. I saw something prior to the SUV being towed. On the back seat, a black briefcase, covered with dust, keypad locked, stamped, property of VH Development Board. Before I could get Caleb to go investigate, disappeared. Something didn't feel right. Why our pasture? Why the fear in that HOA man's eyes? Not shock, fear, genuine fear. I uncovered Vista Heights' shoddy website. Tucked away in public documents were annexation maps, terms of art for an upscale resort expansion. And there, in plain view, our pasture marked prime development area. I took Caleb along, anticipated an expletive-filled rant. Got a soft nod instead, his eyes staring off into space. "Figured they'd come," he said quietly. "Not for the view." "Then what?" He didn't respond, just looked off across the hills. "Ellie, there are things buried around here they'd kill for." I couldn't get him to press. Suddenly, we both heard buzzing, drone buzzing. It flew across the barn, beeped, then vanished off toward Vista Heights. Caleb said nothing, just picked up a wrench, a chain, and a metal rod and began fortifying the fence like a man preparing for war. That evening, looking out of the window, all I could do was think about the briefcase, the hidden secrets, and exactly what we were protecting. This was no ranch land anymore. It was a battlefield. And Caleb? He'd simply traced the first line in the sand. By the time they arrived, the world had already picked sides. Residents had brought lawn chairs and sweet tea. Cable news crews were on site. But Vista Heights became professional. One morning, our access road was barricaded with a sign, "Private Access, Vista Heights Municipal District." Caleb tore it down and tossed it in the creek. Then came a legal letter: trespassing, property vandalism, and unconventional rural utility use. Caleb torched it in the sink and referred to their attorney as a Dallas preener named Ethan Caldwell. The pressure didn't let up. My mom, who dismissed it as Caleb being Caleb, called frantic. Someone had made her an offer of double market value for her portion of the ranch. Cash under the table. That meant they dug deep, knew who held what. The briefcase stayed with me. Caleb closed up. But his friend Walt, a retired deputy with bees and a memory as sharp as a steel trap, told me he'd seen the same make SUV in the 80s at a county meeting for a busted-up resort by Black Pine Ridge, our southern boundary. Walt estimated that briefcase. It could have contained more than blueprints, deeds, payoffs, evidence. That evening, I discovered an envelope in Caleb's study that had been written in Grandma Ruth's handwriting. Black Pine Ridge, not for sale. On the inside, a map with our southern field marked. A line ran to a box that said, "Old survey shaft, closed 1978, possible deposit." It made sense. They weren't after pasture. They were after what was below it. I took Caleb to see it. "What's hidden beneath the ridge?" I asked. He sipped his coffee. "Something that sure ain't theirs." The next day, a woman in a Vista Heights blazer showed up with a clipboard, offered triple market for the southern acreage, asked for 30 days to vacate. Caleb didn't flinch. "I'll think on it." As she turned, he called out, "You forget that briefcase, or just the lies inside it." Her plastic smile cracked just a bit. Enough. The ranch became a fortress. Caleb wired fences, booby-trapped sprinklers, even set up scarecrows armed with tasers. Media dubbed it one rancher's stand. Vista Heights retaliated. County mediation. Their representative? That same zapped individual, Victor Grayson, arrived in a cast and an ego, called Caleb a rural extremist. Caleb, with a bolo tie in the shape of a scorpion, reclined and said, "Didn't invite your SUV, but gave it a Texas welcome." I rose, played the video, stopped on Grayson shouting, "This is private HOA business." "Is it private?" I inquired. "Why is it on our property? And why is a VH Development Board briefcase in the back?" Quiet. The mediator recessed. Outdoors, Caleb laughed. "Nice one, Ellie. Now they know you're spying." "I want them to." Later that night, a truck parked. No lights. A man passed an envelope to Caleb. "Don't trust anyone with a Vista Heights badge on," he grumbled. There was a picture inside. Grayson and younger Caleb, both wearing military attire, standing beside a mine shaft. "No way," I said. Caleb refolded it. A tale I wished to bury. I took a shovel and a sensor and trekked up to Black Pine Ridge. Located high readings of conductivity, beyond minerals. Something dense, something unusual. Back in my own home, I rummaged through the attic. In an antique tin box, buried in layers of dust, was a stone. Dark-colored, metallic, heavy. Grandma's note with it.